episode of Amelia Visits Iceland. We got this really nice letter from Iceland.
Amelia has had some adventures here in Iceland. She went out of town and wanted to get a picture of her with the outlines of Reykjavik in the background, but got stuck in the snowstorm and had to wait it out until it cleared again, and only got a pic of herself standing on the dashboard of the car, waiting in line to return back to the city.
This Sunday was Women's Day here in Iceland, so I took her out in town and showed her around downtown Reykjavik. We visited the oldest building in Reykjavik, the small black building in the background. It was built in 1762 to house operations for a business. Later, the Bishop of Iceland lived there, and it was considered quite nice back in its day. Back when Reykjavik was just starting to look like a village, had very few inhabitants, and this was a fancy building.
After that, Amelia wanted to see the Alþingi, which is the Parliament of Iceland. Alþingi is the oldest surviving parliament of the world, founded in 930 in Thingvellir, 45 kilometers from Reykjavik, but moved to the Alþingishús in Reykjavik in 1881.
Next, the Alþingishús, the Parliament building, is the Reykjavik Cathedral, the small church on the left. It opened in 1787 when Reykjavik was still a small village, and therefore it is more like a village church than cathedrals you will find in other European cities.
Amelia also asked for a wider shot to capture the statue of John Sigurðsson, who was the leader of the Icelandic independence movement when we were trying to claim independence from Denmark. His birthday, June 17th, is the National Day of Iceland. After we talked a little bit about history and how Iceland finally became a fully independent from Denmark while Denmark was occupied during World War II in 1944, we headed up the Icelandic Punk Museum, which Amelia was quite interested, but it was already closed when we arrived, so we only took a picture from the outside.
Most of the tourists that come to Reykjavik want to see Hallgrímskirkja, which is the most notable thing in the Reykjavik skyline when you drive towards the city, and have their photo taken in front of that. So we headed that way next. To get there, we had to walk Skálfarastigur, which is permanently painted in the colors of a rainbow to remind everyone that we celebrate diversity and all kinds of love. Iceland has a very egalitarian culture, and we love to celebrate it in everyday life.
At the end of the street is one of the tallest buildings in the country, Hallgrímskirkja, the Church of Hallgrímur, and in front of there is the statue of Leifur Eriksson, which is thought to be the first European to have set foot in North America about 500 years before Christopher Columbus came there. The church stands on top of a hill, and because of its shape, it is one of the most prominent things you see when you see the city from a distance.
So Amelia's walk downtown Reykjavik was quite educational, and she got to see all kinds of places.
Next time, Amelia visits Antarctica.